Hello, hello, hello. A very warm welcome to you. My name is Angel, just in case we haven't met before. And if we have met before, then it's lovely to see you back here one more time. Do you know what? I fancy a bit of playtime. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really drawn to do a bit of a tarot tag. Are you in? Are you up for it? Let's get into it. Now, I don't know about you, but I was feeling in the mood for a tarot tag, some playtime on my desk with my decks. Now, I was trying to come up with some super duper hashtag, and it's, hopefully I did come up with something super duper. I think I'm going to go for hashtag get your decks out. I said decks. Calm down, don't get tutti fruity. So I've got 15 prompts, I think. Let's get into it with prompt number 1. So a deck you want to use, but for whatever reason hasn't seen any time on your reading space or on your reading desk. What are you going to choose for that if you're doing this tag? Well, I'll tell you what I chose. Okay, so I think that's got to be the, I want to call it the Archean Tarot. I purchased this when I saw it on Racine's channel, Our Moon 513, possibly. If I've said it incorrectly, I'll put the name on the screen. This is a US Games deck. It was really inspired by Racine's video. I have shown this on my channel already, and I was kind of contemplating cutting the borders off, but I ended up not doing that and edging the deck in black. So I don't know why I haven't used it. I purchased this in my mini haul when I purchased like my dark decks. Was that back in maybe like November or something? October, November, December, I can't remember, but I bought a few decks in there. So I bought the Dark Angels deck, I bought the Dark Fairy Tales. What else did I purchase in there? And there was another tarot deck, I can't remember, but I kind of bought this one in at the same time, and I just think that's why this one hasn't had the time on the desk yet. I love this Emperor card, and I love this Hermit card as well. So I really enjoy the images, obviously, as I'm picking up the cards I really enjoy. Warning for nudity, apologies, I'll say that, I'll give a bit of a warning beforehand. Love this, Ten of Wands. So it's not because of the images or anything like that. I just think it's because the other two that I mentioned, and like Tarot V, those have kind of been more in play in my shadow work practice the last few months. I don't doubt this will come into play on my desk. I do not doubt it at all. But for the minute, it's kind of, just chilling, just hanging out on my shelf, having a bit of a what's the word? A mingle with my other tarot decks. But that's the answer to this prompt. The deck that hasn't had any time on my desk. Let's move to prompt number 2. So prompt number 2 is show the deck that is the 12th from the right on your storage shelf or your tarot storage area. Shall I take you along? Shall we count together? Let's do this. Okay, are we ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, the Outgrow Yourself Oracle. Oh, wait, there we go. We're in shot. Let's do this. So you saw it firsthand. It was the Outgrow Yourself Oracle Tarot. I love this little detailing on the box. That's really cute. I do love me some skulls right at the moment. These are the backs. I wish I had edged mine in yellow. I didn't. I edged it in black, but all's well that ends well. Now, I haven't used this deck for a wee while, and the tarot area that I showed you are the decks that I don't plan to bring out this year. I have my other decks that I'm planning to use this year in another storage area. Nothing against this deck. I really do enjoy it, and I'm saying that the storage area that I showed you the decks, I'm not going to bring it out. However, I'm now wondering if this deck might pair with another deck that I am planning on using very soon, which is also Thoth inspired. Oh, that could be interesting. I really enjoy that this is an oracle. You've got the key phrases as well as a key word. My Thoth knowledge is minimal. It's, basically I don't have any knowledge of the Thoth system. I did do some studying about 2 years ago, but unfortunately, old age and all that malarkey, I've forgotten it. So I would like to get back into Thoth, actually, to be honest. And I have used this deck mostly as an oracle deck, which I really enjoy. It could be coming out again. Maybe this was, you know, a great way to kind of have a bit of a, you know, a look at my collection, and to kind of refresh and remind myself the decks in my collection. Oh, keep your eyes peeled. This one could be making another preview very, very soon. Prop number 3. So prop number 3, a deck you are contemplating rehoming. Now, if you've seen any of my videos and you've watched my channel, you know I don't tend to rehome decks. However, that being said, I've got about 28 decks that I've pulled out of my tarot storage area that I'm looking to rehome. And this is one of those babies. This is the Magic Tarot. This is the creator's name. Oh, excuse me. And I think it's a Fournier deck. There we go. These are the bags, which I think are totally gorgeous. Love the colours and all that malarkey. But I've had this in my collection for maybe it's like, oh, I don't know, 3 years, maybe 3.5, 4 years. I started my tarot journey in 2020, and I feel that I got a large influx of decks, you know, in 2021. I reckon this probably came in 2021. And I've used it once for a tarot spell. And the card that I used sat within the tarot spell for, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months. And obviously then I felt I couldn't use a deck because obviously I was missing a card, possibly 2 cards, can't remember. Yeah, and since then I haven't felt called to work with it. And I just feel, you know, as I mentioned, I don't tend to rehome decks, but I just feel that I've got so many decks, or not, wait. I've got decks that I absolutely adore and love, and this is not calling to me to take me away from the decks that I'm really enjoying working with and loving. So I feel that decks that I just want to try out, you know, that I'm not really feeling drawn to, but just, you know, just want to, you know, just try it out just for the sake of trying it out, is taking me away from quality time with the decks I really enjoy working with. And hence the reason that I've been a bit, not strict, but a bit, wait, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll put it on the screen if I can think of it. Whatever that word says, I've been more of that when I was doing my clear out of the decks that need to be rehomed and need to find a new person to love them and hug them and squeeze them, basically, because I haven't been doing that, and these decks deserve that. Oh, I like this a lot. So yes, this is a deck that's been rehomed. Nothing against the deck. I haven't used it for, you know, card pulls. Hey, what's going on here? Oh, that's the title cards. So I haven't pulled it for anything apart from haven't used it for anything apart from the spell work that I did, and I just feel it's time. It's time to have a new owner. So yeah, that's the one that's leaving my collection, among others. Prop number 4. A deck that you don't store in its original box, and why? That's this beauty. This is a box standard bag. I tend to keep my decks in their boxes. The other deck that I don't is the Monsoon Tarot. It's got its own special box, you know, because I just feel it's, you know, really special. Wait, what? I said special twice, I think. Oh, never mind. Whatever, Trevor. The point is, this has got a Preloved, I think it's called Preloved Blue, which is, if I'm correct in saying, Stonehenge is made out of. And this is a stone that I work with in combination with my ancestors. And the reason this is in here is because these are the soul cards, 1 and 2, I believe, if memory serves correctly, and I work with these with my ancestors. So the main reason I keep these in this bag is because it's, you know, it's a chunky deck when both the decks are together. Oh, I'm puffed out, I tell you. I haven't even done anything. All I did was go and pick this up off my shelf, and I'm puffed out already. I'm so out of shape. Anyway, holy moly. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, anyway, so I use this for ancestral work. Yeah, and actually I've got to say, I'm really loving, which I didn't really think about when I got this deck. I did, wait, let me just, wait, cut, stop, edit that out. Let's start again. Keywords. I like it that the soul cards don't have any keywords, and I'm currently working with the Cave of Sybil Oracle, which doesn't have any keywords on the front, they have their keywords on the back. And I'm really, really, really liking that at the minute, because it gives my brain a chance to, you know, get the intuitive hits it needs without, you know, going straight to a keyword on the bottom or on the top of the card. Excuse me. So I'm kind of thinking, has anybody seen, or did they see, Dawn Michelle's recent video about the Oracle deck, Earth Bone, what's it called? Earth and Bone Oracle. They did a modification on that deck, and they cut off the borders and the keywords, and they wrote their own keywords on there. And I'm thinking, I'm kind of feeling a bit tempted to do the same thing, but to write the keywords on the back, so that my brain has got the time to take in what's going on in the image. I don't know, I'm going to think about that. But that kind of struck me when I saw Dawn Michelle's video, because I'd already been started working with the Cave of Sybil Oracle. So yes, so how I don't use this as often as I did at the beginning of my ancestral practice. At the beginning of my ancestral practice, I pulled these cards to communicate with my ancestors, and there was a lot of cards in the decks, in these decks, sorry, that had a lot of sentimental meaning for me because of the messages that I had pulled with them. And so I had some of these cards sitting on my ancestral altar, because at the beginning of my ancestral practice I didn't have any picture of my ancestors at all, and then I was very lucky to receive some. So these were swapped out once the actual photographs of my ancestors arrived. These were swapped out for those photographs. But I do pull them out now and again for ancestral work still. I love this card. This means so much to me. And I'm wondering if I should maybe even start putting these decks out for other practices, just to test them out. But I really love them. I love the soul cards. Oh, my plaster's falling off. I tell you what, I'm falling apart in this video. Gordon Bennett. Should we move on to prompt number 5? Should we? I think we should. Let's do it. So, prompt number 5, a deck with more or less than 78 cards. So, rather more, but if you haven't got a deck with more than 78 cards, then less is also fine. Okay, so these are my Dixit cards. I think this is the Quest deck. I've got a couple of them. Excuse me. I haven't edged mine. There are definitely more than 78 cards, though I can't tell you how many, because I didn't count them, and I don't have the box anymore. So, but there are more than 78. And I think we're going along the same theme of the Cave of Sybil Oracle, that I like it, that it's an Oracle card, an Oracle deck that I can use. Obviously it's not, it's a game originally, but it's a deck that I can use as an intuitive Oracle, and I really like that. I'm kind of really feeling drawn to the Oracle decks in my collection that don't have keywords on them. So enough of the babbly, let's show you some of the cards. So I find these images really, really intuitive. They kind of really spark this, you know, this intuition. No, but they do, they really do. You know, obviously they tell a story, which is, you know, the whole point of the game, basically. Oh, I think it is. I haven't played Dixit, but I'm sure that's what the point of the game is. And so I like it that, you know, you're not being held to any specific idea or keyword. It just, you know, just whatever it means to you on the day that you pull the card. I love that. I really, really like that. Love this. So yeah, and I've been using this deck actually for my what's the word? My facets down the rabbit hole team building work, which is actually taking a bit of a back seat, because suddenly my facets of self work decided to take a detour to, well, I don't know where we are now. We fell down the rabbit hole, and then we fell down a rabbit hole, one more rabbit hole. So we're like deep. But before that, I was using this deck in conjunction with the Alice Down the Rabbit Hole, no, sorry, what was it called? Alice in Wonderland, obviously, the book, and even the deck. And I was like creating spreads around the story, and using this deck for that work. Oh, goodness me, what a long explanation. But the point I'm trying to make is that I'm a massive fan right now of decks without keywords. Love them, love them. Let's move on to prompt number 6. Holy moly, who came up with these prompts? Prompt number 6. A deck with a cloud on the box. I've been gone ages. I've been trying to find a deck with a cloud on the box. Holy moly. Right, I found this one. Here we go. This is the Spirit Animal Wisdom deck. Holy moly. I was like, what deck is that? What deck is that? So I came up on these prompts and didn't really think about, you know, what it meant and what decks I'd be using. What an nincompoop. That's just the way I roll. That's just the way I roll. These are the backs I think are absolutely stunning. Do love me some colour, although, you know, the colour trainer's kind of left at the minute, but the decks are still in my collection. Obviously, they're going nowhere. Love the artwork in this one. This is by Katie Jane Wright, illustrated by Nikki Strange. Got this a wee while ago. I got it when I was using my Figuratively Speaking tarot. That's got to be like 2 years ago. And this one's on my shelf to be used this year with the Borderlands Tarot and even what's that deck called that Mand got recently that I also got? Oh, I can't think what it's called. I'll put the name on the screen because my mind's going to blank. Anyway, let's go back to this deck, shall we? Let's. So yeah, stunning artwork. Really like it, and I like it. It's got quite a lot of information on the card. So you've got the title of the actual animal, the elemental symbol. Then you've got like a keyword and you've got like a key phrase. So this is dolphin, Atlantis, healing wisdom is surfacing, stop and listen. Love that. The dolphin is a bit of a sign for my inner child for me. Horse with a free spirit, give yourself the space and freedom to express your creativity. Love this. This reminds me of my facet of self. Love it. So I'm not going to read all the key phrases and key words, but you're very welcome to if you would like to. Let's flip with a few more cards. Snake. I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of a love affair with a snake at the minute. Well, I'm not in a love affair with a snake, but because that'd be wrong. You know what I mean. Snake, Kundalini rising, channel your creative passion and sensuality. Welcome the transformation. Oh my Gordon Bennett, I like that a lot. Holy moly. Let's do this. Squirrel, spiritual maintenance. Be your own caretaker. I said I wasn't going to read all the keywords, which I'm not going to. But I mean, isn't the artwork just beautiful? I really like this. And I'm not going to show you the pairing, but with the Borderlands Tarot and that deck with the name on the screen now, I think they're going to work really well together. So yes, let's take two more. Here's the last one. Peacock, self-love. Time to celebrate you and all your magnificent light. Definitely take that message with you today. Okay, let's move on to prompt number 7. Let's do it. So prompt number 7 is a deck that you have never shown on your channel. Well, that's got to be this one, the Craftfelt Tarot by Gianna Lucy, or maybe Lucky. I'm not really sure. Apologies if I butchered the name. This was a Kickstarter that I got in very, very recently. And you won't have seen it because obviously I've been AWOL on Insta. No, we're not on Insta. Where are we? Where are we? We're on YouTube, obviously. I'm so sorry. It's late at night and I'm poorly, you know. Yeah, so you haven't seen this, and I totally haven't shown it. And worse than that is I haven't even used it because I've been totally into my dark decks at the minute. I'm going to take a look at the guidebook in a wee second. Love this. Now I was having when this deck showed up on what's it called, Kickstarter, I was having a real flashback to fuzzy felt. Do you remember fuzzy felt? I think fuzzy felts were like around in like the 80s, 70s, 80s, and I had a fuzzy felt which was based around like a haunted castle. It had like a little Dracula figure and like ghosts and stuff like that. I'm going to put some pictures on the screen for you so you can see. And I was kind of having that nostalgic buzz around the fuzzy felt. And then I just, happened upon this deck on Kickstarter. And I was like, oh, I really want this deck. And it's really, really cool. I don't know if you can see this, but like the creator, created all this fuzzy felt. No, it was not called fuzzy felt, just felt. Just felt. And created it created these images around the felt. It's just amazing. I love this. I blooming love this. But I'm having a bit of a love affair with the devil card as well. God, Gordon Bennett, I'm having a lot of love affairs recently, aren't I? Love affairs with snakes, love affairs with the Queen of, what's it called? The Queen of Swords, now with the Devil. Cool, Gordon Bennett. Yeah, and you know, I find this quite comical, really. To myself, it's like a private joke that I love this kind of thing. I back this on Kickstarter. So this is like, I haven't shown this on my channel recently because obviously I haven't been on YouTube and haven't had the chance to show you. But this is one end of the scale. I'm going to pop this on. Look, this is one end of the scale of my personality, right? Of my deck aesthetics, and this is my other, with like the Cave of Sybil Oracle. I mean, could there be any more divide between my aesthetics? Not really. So I was kind of chortling to myself when I was thinking about this prompt and doing this this tag, that we're so many facets, aren't we? We're so many facets of self, and this is two very separate parts of my facets that make up me as a whole. Was that a bit deep? Not really. Let's move on to the next prompt. Psst, by the by, did I show you the bags? Because they're blooming gorgeous, are they not? Oh, they really are. Love it, love it, love it. Not sure I'm going to be using this deck, but it's going to wait it out until it calls to me, until I'm ready, until I'm past this, shadow, dark deck phase that I'm in. But keep your eye out because it'll be showing up on my channel sooner or later. Psst, I'm back again. I forgot to show you the guidebook. What a nincompoop. The guidebook is very, very interesting, I think. I'm going to just give you a bit of a what's the word? A glimpse for the devil, because why not? Tangled downward path. When you're too close, anything can become harmful. Book of Haiku. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is the first time I come across the word haiku was when Kelly Bear was doing their tag, Tarot Advent. Before that, I'd never heard of it, and now I know what it is. So I don't want it anymore. I'm not going to do another. Psst, I'm going to move on to the next prompt. I promise you. I promise you. You can trust me. Let's do this. So prompt number 8. Oh, this is a tough one. Oh, hold on to your hats, party people. A deck with another animal besides a lion in the strength card. What was I thinking? What deck is that? I'll be right back. Fingers crossed. Hells bells, that took a bit of time. Okay, we finally got there. Under the Oak Tarot, I found the strength card. Oh, goodness me. Right, strength, here we go. I'm not, what kind of animal do we think this is? I don't know, but I love the horns. It's given me a whole ram vibe, and I'm loving the ram energy right at the minute. If you haven't seen the Under the Oak Tarot before, I'm sure you have. These are the backs. I'm going to show you some of my favourite cards. The Tower, well, obviously, because I do love me a good Tower card. The Devil, because obviously that's my card of the year, and I'm gonna have to say that I really like this Death card. Oh, I mean, it just doesn't it though? Loving the Chariot, the Sun, the Nine of Wands, and let's give you 2 more. We've got the Empress and the King of Cups. Beautiful deck, love it. This is my inner heroine deck. It's edged out the box. It's I want to say it's Low Scarabeo. Yes, it is. And it's one of the decks I use for my facets of self, and it sits right there, actually. There. Oh, phew! I need a sip of coffee after that, but I don't have a cup of coffee because I've already drunk it up. Okay. Move along to the next prompt. Let's do this. I'm ready. So, prompt number 9. A deck that comes in a box inside of another box, and the deck I chose for that was the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. I mean, you could say that about all of Kim Crance's decks. I think all of their decks comes in a box, within a box. I'm going to show you the Devil card because why not, and a couple of my favourite cards. I'm also going to say that I find the boxes actually really, really useful, and for this deck, this box, the extra box, I've used for, which is not part of the video, but I'm going to show you anyway because I do what I want because I'm naughty like that. I've been using this box to keep hold of my ink blots I've been using for divination. So when I've been pulling certain spreads and doing certain work in my practice over the last few months, which I'll go a bit more into in my catch-up video coming soon, I've been creating an ink blot. So for this one, for example, was womb, and to me this looks like a fetus, a little person wrapped up in a womb. Then we've got for another one, we've got what's this one? This was healing. Looks like two people sitting back to back. And I've got quite a few more, but I'll show you this last one, which was outlook. I think it's quite cool. That what's the word? You see what you want to see. You see what you need to see. So that's what I've been using this box for. And I create ink blots. Whenever the fancy takes me, I just use some. Gesso, black gesso, bit of water, spray the paper with water, throw some paint at it. Squish, fold the paper over and create the ink blot, and it's a lot of fun and I really like it, but I create it with intention. Love that. So I love the fact that this deck came with another box, as well as the archetypes deck also comes with another box. So I also use something else, which I'm not going to go into in this video, but I like that option. Print number 10. Okay, product number 10, a deck that would not appear in a top 10 favourites video. Oh, that was tricky. What would you choose for this prompt? Let me know in the comment section. If you're not going to do a VR yourself, let me have a think. So that's got to be this one. This is not going to be showing up in a top 10 video anytime soon, because it's also one being rehomed. This was a bag that I made myself badly, but job done. This is the Morgan's Tarot. These are the bags. I've got the box somewhere, I think. It came in a tuck box. And this deck is as mad as a box of frogs, basically. So that's why it's on the chopping block. Because, it's what I've mentioned before previously with like the Magic Tarot, that using this deck takes away from other oracles that I really enjoy, love using, get amazing readings from, and I would rather pull those decks than this one. It's a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. It's bonkers. It's a fruit and nut bar. But I don't know. Maybe it's just that I'm not in this moment in my practice. I don't know. Either way, I'm feeling very focused and decided that this is leaving my collection. So it is not a deck that you're going to be seeing in any top 10 video anytime soon, or generally on my channel, I don't think. And I usually say never, but I'm really going to say never. Oh, but that's quite interesting. Oh, dagnammit. Oh no, wait. Let me just shuffle. I just want to ask it a question. Bear with. Please hold the phone. And I'm back. Okay, so I asked the deck what it felt about me, removing it from my collection and letting it go. And I got this one, somewhere there is an energy leak. And then I asked the deck, wait, what did I ask? How it felt about it. And then I asked if it wanted to leave my collection. It's not what you do that counts, it is where your head is at. So I think it's ready for me to let it go. I think so. But then this is really interesting. Oh no! Angel, don't think about it too much. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Great advice. Stop singing is even better advice. Moving on to the next prompt. Prompt number 11. A deck that you disassociate with the colour green. The Wizard of Oz Tarot, of course it is. Emerald City and all that malarkey. I finally got my sticky, squidgy mitts on this deck. I'm so glad. Finally. My box turned up like this. I was a bit unhappy and I purchased it from, it wasn't Amazon, it was somewhere else. But I didn't want the kerfuffle, I love that word, of sending it back. So, the deck is fine. It's looking gorgeous. The guidebook did take a bit of a bashing, but there you go. Excuse me. Haven't worked with this one yet. Cannot wait to work with this one. I'm very, very excited. I've got the books and I've got the deck, and I just don't at the minute have the time, but its time will come. Wizard of Oz is one of my favourite films ever. Reminds me of childhood. Oh, I love this so much, so much. I can't do anything else. I love this. I can't do anything else because I haven't used it, obviously. I really like the fact that some of the cards are in colour, you know, from the Land of Oz, and the cards in canvas, I was going to say, that's wrong, isn't it? Kansas, it was the word I was looking for, are this sepia tone. I like that because that's what the film follows, doesn't it? It follows the, you know, the colour, and then beforehand the sepia. I like that. That totally rings true for me. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that when I start pulling cards out on the table and like it one maybe looks like this. I don't think it's going to bother me. Love the choices. So excited to start working with this beauty. Not feeling like a panic to do that because obviously at the minute I feel that what I'm working with now is giving me a lot and you know, it's keeping me very, very busy. But when the time comes, I cannot wait. And I love this. I remember this was the scene I looked forward to the most when I was a child because we had a black and white television at home. And at my nan's house where we watched this film, because we didn't have a VHS player, this was the scene when I truly appreciated colour television. Oh, good times, good times. Prompt number 12, a deck with your most, no wait, hold on, that's the wrong prompt. The next prompt is a second-hand, pre-loved, thrifted or pre-owned deck. Oh, I've got quite a lot of those. Let's take a look. Be right back. So I've got quite a few pre-loved second-hand decks in my collection. This was one of those, the Lucifer Tarot. This was a deck that I've purchased on eBay. I do believe this is the first edition. Excuse me. Oh, holy moly. Sorry. The cardstock is like quite, what's the word? Not sticky, but it likes to, you know, clump together almost, I'm going to say. Really enjoy this one. I think I got this one back like 2 years ago, something like that, on eBay as mentioned. I can't think what I paired this one with. I can't remember. No, I'm having a complete mental block at the minute. And I haven't used it in quite a while. But I quite like the blobby, if I dare say blobby people. I think this is when my facets of self started coming through to me, if memory serves correctly. The red bonnet and the wolf energy started coming through. There's quite a lot of wolves in this deck, and that's when I first started noticing the readings with the wolf energy. Excuse me. That sounds quite woo-woo. If this is your first time on my channel and you're not a woo-woo person, you know, just FYI, I'm a woo-woo person. Yeah, so I can't really say any more. I can't remember, to be honest, about, you know, the readings that I got with this deck. I know I definitely enjoyed them because obviously the deck's still in my collection, but I haven't used it in quite a while. It has been sitting on my tarot cart, but it hasn't gotten as much use because other decks have come into my collection and have been taking my attention and desk time. I'm going to move on to the next prompt straight away. The next prompt is a deck in my collection with the most used guidebook, and that's got to be actually this one. And the reason it sits, going back to it sitting in my tarot cart still, is basically because of the guidebook. I unfortunately, because I'm an nincompoop, dropped this guidebook in my coffee cup, hence the reason it's looking a bit squiffy. But this guidebook, for a little white guidebook, is fantastic. It's really, really good. I'm just going to show you quickly. I have shown this in another video as well. It's got the symbols and represent, you know, the virtues, the vices, the symbols, the colours. It's got the elemental dignities, the zodiac. It goes through, you know, the gifts, the body, the herbs, the stones of all the zodiac signs. The planetary symbols, sacred principles, sacred colours, sacred symbols, sacred numbers, sacred creatures, and then it's even got some spreads. And then it goes into the card meanings. Isn't that great for a dinky little guidebook? This is what a little white book should be like, most definitely. I would say this is my most, I think, hand on my heart, I don't think I'm lying when I say this is my most used deck guidebook, because it's just so handy, and it's a quick flick and a quick find your information. Get in, get your information and get out. I love that, love it. I think we've got one more prompt, if No, we've got two more. Oh my goodness me. Two more. Second to last prompt. A deck with water on the box. I'm off to do another search. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. So this search went swimmingly. Ha ha ha. We're looking at the Japitzy Tarot by Nino Japitzy. Oh, excuse me. I totally think this is water. There's the bridge. This is definitely water. For me, this is water. I got this quite a while ago, this deck. Not a big fan of the backs. I don't think they match the fronts, but hey ho. I'm not going to edge mine. I think this deck is blooming gorgeous. I did think about taking the borders off, but I haven't done it thus far, merely because I'm a bit undecided. But this artwork is absolutely stunning, in my humble opinion. And I think, I'm not sure if I have paired it, but I think this would pair really nicely with the Fountain Tarot. I have that deck. Can't remember if I've paired that with it or not. I can't remember, but I really do think it would pair really nicely. I love this Tower card. It totally speaks of a tower moment that I've had in my life. This sums it up perfectly. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't think I've got any more to say really. Amazing reader, very intuitive deck. I didn't tend to go to the guidebook for this deck. I love this with the Queen of Gardens, and it's just a stunning deck, in my humble opinion. We've got one more prompt, and the last prompt, which was the prompt I tried to read out a bit earlier by mistake, which is a deck with your most favourite card ever and why. That's definitely going to be a toughie. Save the toughest till last. Yeah, what do you think? It's a difficult one. Let's do it. Okay, so this prompt took a bit of thought, and I came upon this deck, which is the Tarot at the End of the Rainbow. Now, this was a deck that I had a major epiphany with. It's got to be like 2.5 years ago, something like that. And this was the card I had the epiphany with. This is the Three of Swords. And the epiphany I had was that I had been feeding my energy into almost like this physical altar of trauma that I was feeding all the time. That's where my energy was going. And this card kind of gave me a wake-up call to realise that just because, this trauma was still within me, I didn't need to, oh, excuse me, create its own altar and keep it alive by feeding it my energy. It was much more important for me to use that energy instead to heal myself and move on and use the energy for something much more creative and much more worthwhile and useful to my personal growth. So, yeah, that's basically in a nutshell the epiphany I had with this card. And it meant so much to me in the reading that I actually created an artwork which sits on my altar, which still sits on my altar to this day, as a constant reminder that, it's okay to have been through these things, but, I don't need to stay there in that moment, in that experience. I need to use my energy for something else. And so, yeah, so for that reason, this card, I think, is my most favourite card. I love this deck generally. Have I used it in a while? I haven't, but it's definitely not leaving my collection. And it will no doubt see some more playtime on my desk. Hopefully, again, soon. Love this. So yeah, that was it. Those were the prompts. What do you think? Do you fancy a bit of playtime? Why not jump on the hashtag and, yeah, do a VR if you want to. Don't forget to tag me if you do. I'd love to see what you think, what your thoughts and opinions were about the prompts and the decks you choose. If you don't have a channel and you'd like to, join in anyway, why not, tag me on Instagram if you've got an Instagram account. Why not do a bit of a choice there instead? Otherwise, hit me up in the comment section. Would you like a prompt? May I choose a prompt for you, or do you want to choose yourself? Let me choose one for you. Can I? May I? the first prompt, a deck you want to use but for whatever reason hasn't seen the light of day on your desk or in your reading space. Let me know. Oh, we're done, we're dusted. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you very much for spending some time with me. Take care. I really hope to see you in the next video. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Toodaloo.